You're a falling star, you're the getaway car, you're the line in the sand when I go too far. You're the swimming pool on an August day, and you're the perfect thing to say. And you play it coy, but it's kinda cute. Oh, when you smile at me, you know exactly what you do. Baby, don't pretend that you don't know it's true, 'cause you can see it when I look at you. And in this crazy life, and through these crazy times, it's you, you make me sing. Your every line, your every word, your everything. You're a carousel, you're always well, and you light me up when you ring my bell. You're a mystery.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Now, this looks like a lot of words, but they're in big print, okay? So be rest assured. I've watched Bob when he does his sermons, right? And you think, oh gosh, he's got 15 pages, this is going to be like an hour. So I know you'll be counting the pages. And I feel with all these microphones that this is like a FIFA press conference when I'm about to announce my resignation or something or other. So, on behalf of Patricia, my dear wife, I would like to thank you very much for coming to this special occasion. To celebrate the marriage of our daughter Jessica to Giles. Yeah, Jessica. Okay, just in case you forget, there are other names might trip out. Okay, but that's the one to remember. Now listen, this is only meant to last 7 minutes, so we're already overrunning, aren't we? Right? So we warmly welcome all our friends and family to this celebration of love that has united Jessica and Giles in their marriage today. We're especially delighted to see our great granny Gert Joan here. Who's in her 100th year. Now, Granny Gert was 30 when she had me, so you can guess how old I am. So we've also got two very young children with us, Calvin and Reuben, who were born last month. So we've got a 100-year span, amongst the group today, which is really brilliant. Now, let me reassure you, those of you that are placing bets, all right, my friend here worked in a betting shop when he was a younger man. He looks a bit younger then. And he's running a book. So if you wish to place any bets, you've got 10 seconds. Otherwise, you're going to miss your opportunity. First and foremost, a very big thank you goes to Jess and Giles for all the hard work and planning that has gone into arranging today. I mean, their eye for detail is absolutely fantastic, and we are really proud and delighted, Jess and Giles, for all the hard work that you put in. Brilliant! Thank you so much. They have both been burning the midnight oil in recent months. I know that from the emails that I've been getting that have been going into quite the small hours. And all those checklists, reminders, keep streaming in. Simon, who works with Jess, if you're treated the same way as I've been treated in the last 6 months, heaven help you. We ought to compare notes, I think. Now, Jess had this great idea of us sharing Dropbox so that I could be brought up to speed if I wasn't doing what I was meant to be doing. So when I looked, there was something like 200 action points for me. I turned Dropbox off. And then it told me off for turning Dropbox off. Pink serviettes, for example, should have arrived at 9:30 yesterday morning. They arrived at 12:20. At 10:25, I got an email from Jess saying that the serviettes arrived. But I do love you, Jess, really. Jess has been known to us as Pigeon. That's been the nickname, and if you want to see me afterwards, I'll tell you quietly how that word came about. But she has always been very, very special to us. She has provided us with barrels of laughter, fun, friendship. It's been really marvellous. And there have been so many special moments, but we haven't got all the hours that we need to talk about them. We have really, really welcomed Jess. You're bringing all your friends to all the things we've held in Winfrith. You know, we've had such laughs, you know, with all the friends. So thank you so much for doing that. Your determination, though, is one of the things that Patricia and I thought about as being one of your key hallmarks. And we started to think about what are some of the things that bring out this determination characteristic. Well, Claire, sitting on the table there, same as Jessica, grew up together. And Jessica, at 4 years of age, had this yellow swimming costume and was determined to show Claire this swimming costume off. So put on the swimming costume, plus her red Wellington boots, and went out the door. But that night we'd had 6 inches of snow. That's the first time we'd had snow in Jessica's lifetime. So she's walking next door in the snow in just her swimming costume, and we said, come back, come back. No, I'm showing Claire my swimming costume. So they have real determination. And I think the influence between them hasn't always been to our parents' benefit. And I'll explain. I worked in the pub trade for many years, and when we had redundant credit card machines, I brought 2 home, one for Claire and one for Jess to have a play on. Well, of course, they soon stumbled across the notion that we and the Westons household had to start buying our own groceries back. Well, that was all very well. I said, well, you know, we don't want to give you a credit card. So Claire, I'm afraid, I have to admit, put up a sign saying we will accept cash. We have the evidence still for that. Holiday jobs are a very important part of a young person's development and upbringing. And Jessica, in her teenage years, has worked as a lifeguard, bar staff in local pubs, ice cream seller at Durdle Door with Giles, kitchen helper at the garden centre, and in the local police HQ, admin support in the ticket issuing office. I must say, she used to come home and said, you'll never guess what. But you know, she never ever told us, ever, the names of anybody who had got a ticket, ever. But she knew a lot of our neighbours had. Oh, not a neighbour, names. Pat and I have discovered, as parents, that you have to be masters of a living Wikipedia of information for one's offspring. Some of the questions that have been thrown to us over the years have been quite far-ranging. Now, you're expected to know the answer. You're expected to know the answer instantly, and you're not phoning a friend, right? For example, when Jess has been on her gap year and school and stuff in Australia, we had a telephone call from her, for us, very late at night, wanting to know what the various cuts of meat were in Australia in the supermarket, because they're different to England. I have here, Jess, the answer to your question of all those years ago. This is a printout of all the Australian cuts of meat. Other questions? How do you wire a plug? Well, in England, not too difficult, but when she was in New Zealand, I was asked, how do you wire a plug? How do you repair a gas leak to a boiler? How do I deal with an infestation of squirrels in the flat? And so on and so on. But Jess, we love you lots, and you've been a real treasure to us. Now to Giles. Now, Giles, this is just the warm-up act, right? Okay? There's more to come. But seriously, we do offer you a very, very big warm welcome to our family. We've been delighted to get to know you over the years, and all our neighbours and friends in the village have said, he seems such a nice, genuine, friendly young man. However, I recently asked one of the gathering here, who happens to be a policeman, and said, can you do a little bit of checking for me? Is Giles well behaved? I have written verbatim what he told me. I have looked into this, And our records show that when Giles spent 2 nights in the police cells during his stag night weekend in North Wales, we can confirm he was very well behaved. So Giles, let's get our relationship right from the start. I'd like my drill back in the next week or two because I'm at home for a few days. But Giles has shown some excellent self-control. And I think that's really important in a future son-in-law. He's an avid Grand Prix follower. And on one of our visits to Twickenham, he had pre-recorded the event. And those of you, and I know some of you around the room here, are avid Grand Prix watchers. If you're not able to see it, you like to record it and then have the thrill of seeing who is the winner when you come to the end of the video recording. Well, I had heard on the radio earlier in the day who had won. I said, "Oh, Giles, I can tell you who's won the Australian Grand Prix." And I came out with it, and he was not happy. Giles, I apologise. So you Grand Prix devotees will know that I committed a cardinal sin. I'd like to offer Giles some advice now on the next stages of his life. So Jess, would you put your hand on the table in front of you, please? Giles, put your hand on top of Jessica. No, her hand. Jess, put your hand on top of Giles' hand. Don't forget, Giles, the wife always has the upper hand. And you know about a man, husband always meant to be wearing the trousers. Well, men do wear the trousers, but it's always the wife who chooses them for him. Our greatest wish to you both is that you look back on today with really fond memories, lots of laughs, being surrounded by your friends and family. So here's to the future and all that you look forward to together. I'm going to ask everybody to be upstanding now with their glasses. It's my final duty and great privilege to propose a toast to our daughter Jess and our new son-in-law Giles. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Jessica and Giles, Mr. and Mrs. Graham, the bride and groom.
Right then, how do I follow that? I've just become aware of a game over here. I'm going to change this slightly. There's a bit going on over here. People over there won't have a clue what's happening, so every time a word is said, there somebody has to have a drink. Matt, who's done a great job tonight, has spent many, many years drinking me under the table, and this is too good an opportunity to turn down. So, Matt, Jessica.
Hey, well done, Giles. I love you.
John, on behalf of Jess and I, thank you so much for your very kind words. It's been brilliant spending time with you, getting to know yourself and Pat, and finding myself in the middle of the Winforth village life. It's brilliant. And we've spent quite a bit of time down here now, and it's really enjoyable. We can sort of, really cherish the time we spend down here with you, and that's great. Thank you. I've been looking forward to saying this actually. Gives me huge pleasure on behalf of my wife and I. To say thank you so much for everybody who's here today. I know that some people have made exceptional trips and come from far away, so thank you so much. It means so much to us all that you're here, and we squeezed you in. It still seems to work, that's good. If not, we'll just go outside. But thank you. We wouldn't want to have this without you all here, so thank you for everything you've done and everything you've contributed to this as well. It's brilliant. I'm going to start off with Jessica. Matt. Just saying how amazing you look today. You look beautiful. There was a chap in the church today when Dave said, "Are you going to turn around and watch Jess come down the aisle?" Drink. Or are you going to stand there and wait for her to come alongside you? He said, if you turn around and you cry, everyone's going to see. So just about held it together. Didn't turn around, and then you came alongside me, and I thought, wow. Wow. I was lost for words. So, yeah, unbelievably pretty today. Beautiful. Lost my thread now. Completely lost my thread. It was 8 months ago. I can't believe we've done this today, actually. It felt like it's been quite a big thing for us, hasn't it? But 8 months ago, I proposed to Jess down in Porthelly in Cornwall, and it does still entertain me today that she's still not completely convinced I was sincere at the time. So we've had a bit of fun with that, but this is the culmination of an awful lot of hard work. And it's taken a huge amount of effort, mostly on Jess's part between us, I have to be honest, but also from John and Pat as well. The effort has just been brilliant, and this is the culmination and the success that we've managed to pull it off. So yes, well done. Can we have our weekends back soon? I've really enjoyed today, more so than I ever thought I could. Actually, standing at the church last night doing the rehearsal, I was terrified. And I thought, right, okay, if we had 10 people in the church yesterday and I felt like that, then today's going to be a bit different. It's going to be even worse. But actually waiting up there and watching and seeing everybody coming in and then waiting for Jess and being up there and going through the service and everything that we've done was brilliant. And it was 10 times better than I thought it could be. It was so good. One of the good things was when we left, you may have noticed we left in the car. Thank you, Simon. It wasn't the E-Type that we dreamt of, but it was damn sight faster than the E-Type, and it's more reliable. We even played the yellow car game, so that's something that we created to keep Jess awake on long journeys. So I had some company and some conversation. So it's good that whilst we have all of the ceremony today, we managed to keep it to a certain level of fun and games as well. Thank you, Mark. Well spotted. But first and foremost, Patricia and John, thank you for bringing up such a lovely daughter. I think you're such a close family, and it's been great. It's been sort of invited to join that, so thank you so much. It's absolutely fantastic. I would imagine that Jess had aspirations for the dogs and the cats to be here too, but in the spirit of having the upper hand, that did get vetoed. No bow ties either. Patricia, you're looking gorgeous. Thank you for everything. I know that you've been working incredibly hard over the last couple of months, 6 months probably. It's absolutely great. Thank you so much. John, thank you too. I will get your drawback if you really want it. But back in October, when we were at Jess's parents' house, Matt, I decided that it was the right time to ask John if I had his blessing to ask Jess to marry me, and he looked at me, and the first thing he asked me was I sure? But we also know that he can't keep a secret. So we were there on the Friday night, and I thought, oh well, maybe Friday night's a good option. Go down to Cornwall on the Saturday. That's pushing it a bit. It's cutting it a bit fine before we leave early in the morning. Couldn't do it Friday. John's not great at keeping secrets.
Especially on a Friday.
So I had to do it early Saturday morning, and we had a chat, and everything was fine. And then Sunday came and went. We couldn't get hold of them. So we thought, oh well, yeah, out having fun. That's fine. But I think, I still do think, that Rory the dog is the only person that you told.
Well, that is true.
So you couldn't keep a secret, but Pat was none the wiser. So thank you for that.
I did keep my word.
Mum, beautiful. Hello. You right over there? Good stuff. Over the jet lag? Just sunshine. See, it's sunny. Good.
Yeah.
Oh,
sunshine.
wine. Okay, that does it. Right. Okay. Fine.
Sunshine all the way now.
So it's beautiful to stay. Thank you for everything you've done for me. Thank you for being such a great mum to Maddie, Charlotte, Libby and I. And if Granny, Grandpa and Cuckoo were here, they'd be really, really proud of the family that you have. So thank you for everything. Dad, thank you for everything as well. Thank you for all your support. I'm sorry I didn't take up golf. Would have been hours and hours me chasing balls and who knows where while you're just going straight on the fairway. So I was never going to beat you in that one. So I'll pick something else. But if you do want me to race the Lotus, I'm happy to have a go. Yeah, we can find a compromise, I'm sure. Right, the ushers. Tim, thank you. Matt, looking good.
Hanging in there, John.
You managed to yeah, keep going, though you're probably in the biggest, thickest wool outfit of everyone here. We've got Paul, thank you. Vince, where is he? Oh, yeah, hey. Thank you so much. You've been brilliant, not just today, but particularly today. I know that the list of stuff that I gave you on Jess's behalf last night was pretty chunky, but you've done brilliantly and helped out with everything. So this wouldn't have happened without your help. So thank you so much. Oh dear, there's another word I didn't pick up on there. See, right. That's, yeah, absolutely brilliant. I know Jessica and I really, really appreciate everything. Thank you. Other things, Marion and Mark, our godparents respectively, thank you for your generosity, your support, your help, your friendship. It's brilliant, and we're so happy that you're here. Mark arrives by helicopter, so, you know, as you do indeed. But we're glad you came last night, even though you probably could have come today, thankfully. It's turned out pretty well. So from there, I think we need to thank so many people in the village as well. The level of support, I didn't realise actually how many people have done so many things, and it's so greatly appreciated. Thank you. We've had a huge amount of help, whether it's seemingly cutting down bits of garden for foliage or supplying jam jars that we could pretty much open a factory with. We've got enough now to supply jam for the village for life. There are a few other things. We've got some milk churns. We had the option of putting the flag on the top of the church tower. The options know no bounds, but there are a million things I don't know about as well that have happened. And from Jessica and I, thank you so much. I think from there we go to the bridesmaids. So aren't they looking fantastic? Oh, bridesmaids then.
Do it again.
Bridesmaids. Ellie, Mel, Cadams, Laura, you've done so much, and you've been brilliant, and I know that Jessica was so helpful, so appreciative of. She wasn't helpful at all, was she? So appreciative of everything that you've done, the years of friendship, all the adventures. I've heard so many stories, and I know there are going to be so many more. Yeah, without you guys, Jess certainly wouldn't have been anywhere close to being on time, let alone when she did turn up. But I think you did pretty well. So thank you. I know that Coralie may have had some impact on today that wasn't Jess's responsibility, but we'll let that go by the by. She's quite young still. So I think what we need to do is please stand. If everybody would stand, raise a glass to toast the bridesmaids. The bridesmaids. Granny's going well. Granny, you enjoying that? Is that nice? Lovely. Excellent. Right, I'm nearly done, so I'll get off in a second. Right, best man, Dave. Dave, thanks for organising a brilliant stag do. It was absolutely fantastic. We went zip wiring across bits of Wales that are amazing to see from the sky. We did it in a gale, which made it more interesting. And then on the Saturday we climbed Snowdon, and the first hour, I have to be honest, I felt like I didn't want to put my feet in front of the other. But there were many hours of fun after that, and it was absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much for dragging everybody all of that and bringing everybody back again afterwards. It was a lot of fun, and everyone said to me subsequently how good it was. So thank you. Apart from Jess, I think, having known Dave since we were at primary school together, he knows me as well as anybody. And he's been through so many experiences, times, fun times, tough times, and I always appreciate your shoulder to cry on, your ear to bend, your beer to drink, your food to eat. So thank you so much. I suspect a lot of what you're going to hear in a minute is quite true, but we'll see. But there is a little anecdote before I introduce Dave that he used to spend a lot of time having a lot of fun phoning up my office. And he talked to our PA, and he'd announced in quite a serious voice that he'd like to speak to Mr. Graham, please. And he'd say, yes, it's Detective Inspector Bolton from the Metropolitan Police Murder Squad. And at that point, I would get the phone sort of thrown at me, and somebody would go white. And then I get this chuckling down the other end of the phone. This went on for a while and eventually just had to be told to stop. But I'm sure there's a lot of evidence that we're going to hear now, which I don't really want to remind myself about. So thank you everybody for today and for joining us and celebrating with us. I'm going to pass you across to Dave, my best man.
Well done, Giles. Lovely. Well done. Families and friends, ladies, officer and gentlemen, and obviously Mr. and Mrs. Graham. It's always difficult to follow on from excellent speakers, so thankfully I followed Giles.
That's a good one.
It was a great privilege to be asked to make this speech, although as I've not been able to drink yet, a tad inconvenient. But this afternoon at the church, I think you'll all agree that Mrs. Jessica Graham looked stunning.
Yeah.
Giles just looks stunned. But marriage is a wonderful institution. I have to say that. My wife is at the table with me. So you ask, how does Dave know Giles? Well, Giles and I have been friends since age 5 at primary school. And despite me trying to shake him off for a few years through secondary school, we met up again at a mutual friend's wedding. It's Nick and Emma at the back there, I think, somewhere. And we soon reverted to being schoolboys again. Now, you'll be pleased to hear that Giles's family have been an excellent source of stories. So I've managed to fill in the gaps of the Giles's life that I wasn't around for. So we shall start at the beginning. Back in 1976, Giles was born in Truro in Cornwall. His parents were a bit disappointed as they wanted a Labrador.
He was blonde for a long time.
He was a pretty ugly baby, but his mum only getting morning sickness after he was delivered. But fast forwarding to age 3, his mum's told me about a particular shopping trip when Giles got bored. For those of you that have never been shopping with Giles, he treats it a bit like a commando raid. It's up early, get in before anyone else is awake, head straight for the target with the subtlety of an Exocet missile, grab whatever he needs and he's out like a flash. But Giles's mum didn't know that at age 3. So Giles's mum was trying on some clothes and he appeared at her side with a very guilty expression. And Mum, I've eaten something. So a brief trip to A&E and a few x-rays later, it's confirmed that Giles has indeed swallowed a metal bolt from the shop's shelving. Now, for some reason, the shop didn't want the bolt back. But Jess, bit of advice, next time Giles declares he's bored in John Lewis, you might want to listen to him. Next we come to age 5 when I met Giles in Key School. It was a lovely old granite building, but like a Cornish chapel, that had distinctly dodgy wiring. At least it did once we'd finished there. I remember an almost albino blonde little boy with angelic face saying, "It's okay, if you put the scissors in the little holes, it only makes a little bang." Science not being a strong subject. Shortly after an entirely unexpected power cut, Giles and I were dragged before the teacher and given lines to do. Mine took me all evening, but not for Giles, no, the girly swat. He did his during lunch break, probably even forged the letter home from his parents, and they probably don't even know about it till now. Oh, sorry, mates. Primary school saw Giles leaving his beloved Cornwall behind and found himself in Surrey. And we all bump into each other over the years, and some of his friends and family have filled in the gaps from here. So I can now burst the bubble on whatever war story Giles has told you about his broken tooth. It wasn't some 6-foot burly flanker that got the better of him on the rugby pitch. It was actually getting distracted playing girls' volleyball. And he jumped strangely, bounced his head off his knee and embedded his tooth there. What a hero. But volleyball hasn't been Giles's passion in life. That honour goes to the game of rugby. He's found it a great way to meet all sorts of people. Paramedics, nurses, orthopaedic surgeons. He's even come down to see my Tom, his 7-year-old godson, playing at Richmond Rugby Club. Well, that's probably just because he's itching to get on the pitch and be the biggest one there. Yeah, Jessica. Rugby has been the cause of many of the adventures throughout his life, and one of his great passions, as I say, that sometimes boils over. And there was a particular England match where we missed another penalty, and Giles started to shout so much at the telly that we got thrown out. Now, I wouldn't mind it, but I got thrown out as well. Thanks, Giles. But it's not just sport that Giles throws himself into. No, he always puts maximum effort into everything that he does. In fact, a few years ago, he was invited to a fancy dress party for pop stars. Now, obviously, there were rock stars and Elvis impersonators. Oh no, but not for Giles. No. No, Giles wanted to be his favourite singer, Britney Spears. Long blonde wig and pigtails, very short skirts and a school uniform. He even borrowed a black bra. Now, it's all very well, Giles, but we've never had it back in our household, mate. So, Giles, or should I say Brittany, any confessions? Now, Giles likes to party as much as the rest of us, but bless him, he can't handle his beer quite the same as some of the big boys. And a few years ago, I was working night duty as a police officer in central London, and I got a phone call from a very forlorn Giles. He tried to keep up with the big boys in the office, found himself abandoned somewhere in Pimlico, and so I turned up and poured him into the back seat, and central London's Twickenham in about 12.5 minutes, and the only problem is Giles now wants all of his cabs to have blue lights and two tones. Happily though, as we all know, the lovely Miss Yonwin, or should I say Mrs. Graham now? Jessica came into his life, and seeing what a wonderful bride, I realise what a great choice he's made, and I really admire his taste, which is more than I can say for hers. Jessica. Now, many of you know that Giles's family is spread across the 4 corners of the earth, and unfortunately his 2 sisters, Maddie and Libby, couldn't be here today. So in the tradition of telegrams, I've had a few words sent across from Australia. So this is from Maddie, and it says, "Hi Jai and Jess and everyone, I hope you're having an amazing day." To Jess, "I'm happy to now call you my sister-in-law and look forward to having you in our family for many years to come." And Jai, "Wow, congratulations on making an honest man of yourself. I'm very excited for your life ahead. I hope your future husband and wife Tiffs have a little more decorum than ours did when we were younger." And she remembers when she threw a stereo remote at your head, which was an epic shot, and you squashed her, grabbed her by the throat and threw her onto the sofa, which, although awesome, not advisable for adults. And I hope you realise that now Jess is your wife, you can no longer negotiate your way out of pets or animals. What she says goes, unfortunately. Yeah. And may I suggest a kitten to get you started? Should be a nice slow introduction to kids. Have a really great weekend, both of you. I'm sending all my love and hugs from a cold, wintry Australia on your happy day. Have an absolutely amazing time. All love, Maddie. And another one from Libby, and dear Giles and Jessica, congratulations and all the best in this next adventure of your lives. Love you both, Libby. And I think got got one final message. It's from the Golden Fleece pub in Wales. It says, my eyes, put some clothes on. Don't know what that's all about, but you know. So, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we just over to Giles. Sorry, minor distraction there, mate. Anyway, some hecklers, eh? But, ladies and gents, before I do finish, I'd like to say a big thank you to both Jess and Giles' parents. From all of the guests today, for all of your efforts to make this such a special celebration. And finally, as a man who will drink to absolutely everything, I'll be grateful if you give me an excuse to raise my glass again and give some advice to Giles. And that's to keep your marriage brimming in the ever-loving cup. Remember, when you're wrong, admit it. Whenever you're right, just smile. Ladies and gentlemen, the new Mr. and Mrs. Graham, Giles and Jess.
Very good.